This is the EVP Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, sit back, relax, prepare to be delighted as we enjoy the EVP Podcast.
I am one of your hosts, Beaker.
I'm Ghosty.
And we have a mystery voice guest.
Hello.
You've heard him before. He was here with the Bell Witch episode, and then another one.
The Scared or Fascinated was
Probably Scared and Fascinated. This is like the third
or fourth time I've been on
This is like
here.
the 400th time he's been on episode 175. He's been here 400 times. So Lurch is back.
Once or twice, yeah.
So, we've went over stuff already. We know who we are. Okay, so Thanksgiving is a couple days away.
Sure is.
And I know you've all seen me. Anyone that's friends with me on Facebook has seen all the anti-Christmas stuff that I've been posting. But before we get this episode rolling today, we want to thank you for listening to our Hollow Moon Theory episode.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Yeah, that's wild. Weird, wild stuff. Makes you think.
I haven't listened to that episode, but I do believe that there is bases and stuff that we can't see on the dark side of the moon.
Or possibly even drilled out completely like the old Kennecott copper mine. Flipped inside out.
That could very well be.
Or there's Megatron with Prime, what's-his-face, and they have the pillars.
It's a giant egg shell.
That's the space egg.
Autobots unite!
Okay. So before we get rolling on today's episode, like I said, I know I've been posting a lot of anti-Christmas stuff, but we're going to start the Christmas season off here on the EVP Podcast right now.
Yeah.
With Grandpa Lundquist's Christmas Soda. It's a Scandinavian jewel must.
I know Grandpa Lundquist.
For those of you on the
Grew up with them.
for those of you watching on Spotify and on YouTube, there is the soda. We're going to give it a little taste here. I'm going to crack it open. I'm going to have Ghosty pour this.
Oh, I was going to blow the top off.
Why are you? Don't blow on it.
Let's see if I can get some cool.
So we're
Little
kicking
ASMR.
off the Christmas season. We don't know if this is good or not. When I posted this on Facebook,
How crisp was that?
There you go, yeah.
so crisp and so clean.
Oh, man.
Okay, so here's a little bit for me. And then Lurch, there's some for you. I got nothing but head.
Wish I could say this.
You're like a cabbage.
I have to let
Nothing
mine,
but head.
I have to let mine settle. Look at that. It's like I know how to pour a beer. You hear that?
Crackle, crisp.
A little
crisp.
ASMR here on the EVP
Give me some
Podcast.
head, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice and frothy. Thank you.
Oh,
Oops.
so Grandpa Lundquist soda here.
He was a good guy. That Grandpa
On the
Lundquist.
bottle here, it says, during Yule, Swedish for Christmas, children and adults alike enjoy Julmust, a unique, sweet, and flavored winter soft drink. Created in 1910, Julmust was quickly embraced and continues to be a part of Swedish culture to this day. Start your own tradition by serving ice-cold Grandpa Lundquist Christmas soda at all of your holiday gatherings and winter events. So here we go.
Raise your glasses to Grandpa Lundquist.
Grandpa
Ooh, that smells
Lundquist,
good.
thank you for the soda. Here we go.
All right.
Huh. It tastes like Christmas.
You know what? It doesn't have as strong as spice flavors that I was expecting.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't have like...
It almost just tastes like Coca-Cola.
It's
It tastes
surprising.
like-
It's milder
actually,
than Coke.
I want to say it tastes
Yeah.
more like RC Cola.
Yeah, it is a lot more mild. Because I think Coca-Cola has a lot more cinnamon in it. That's why.
Yeah, this is definitely a little more mild.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of like black cherry and spices. But yeah, it's definitely milder than Coke.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Yeah.
Even more than Pepsi. Let's take another drink. Great way to start a paranormal podcast. That's actually really good. I like
Yeah.
that. The second,
not bad.
wait, the second taste was better.
The second
It got
taste-
better on the second taste.
Yeah, I was going to say I could taste a lot more Christmas in that one.
The Christmas cheer was coming through more.
I don't know all the places that you can get this. I got this at a store in Draper, Utah called Pirate O's. So if you are interested in trying Christmas soda, that's where I got it from. I think you can also get it on Amazon.
Piratos was just down from my parents' house.
And it's a
I've
pretty
been there
cool
a couple
store.
It's a
huh?
really cool store.
It's kind of like a Trader Joe's knockoff,
But pirate style.
but pirate style. Really cool
Yeah.
place, though. Really nice store.
Oh, it just keeps getting better.
Yeah. I actually... This actually blew my expectations out of the water.
I wasn't knowing what to expect, and I actually quite enjoy that.
I can just taste
Yeah, if you
the
guys
holiday
bring this
season.
to a party, if you don't drink alcohol, this is a cool way to be like, hey, have something delicious.
I'm celebrating Christmas with my Christmas
Yeah, you
soda.
don't have to have liquor.
I'm burping Christmas spirit
Well,
already.
that's just magical.
Excuse me.
All right.
Well, there you go. So it's officially Christmas here in the EVP Podcast Studios.
Yeah, even though we're still in the month of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, apparently everyone tells me I'm wrong, that Christmas goes from November 1st up until Thanksgiving Day. Then it's Thanksgiving, and then it's back to Christmas until Christmas Day.
Well, if you're in the Philippines, as soon as you hit a month that ends with Burr, you're celebrating Christmas. It's the Burr months.
Brr.
And so from September on till Christmas
December.
is over. Yep.
That's magical.
It is. You can go down there and go find out for yourself. Let's go.
I don't know. I don't want to.
You're scared.
Let's do it. Yeah, I am.
Where are we going then? Right now.
Oh, let's go to New York.
All right.
Oh yeah, East Bethany.
East Bethany.
That's
Born and raised.
That's just a little bit east of Buffalo and Niagara Falls.
That's right. It is.
Yeah.
I will take your word for it. I've
What
never been
is
there.
what is in East Bethany now?
I don't know, ghosts or stuff? Is that what we talk about?
I think so.
Okay, so apparently this is like the second most haunted place in America. So I'm actually really okay with that because it's not claiming to be the most haunted like everything else.
Who are they claiming is the most haunted?
Rolling Hills Asylum.
You know, I watched a brief video by I believe the owner. Her name is Susan Cord or something like that. She said that it is the most haunted place in America, but of course, you know, every place is gonna say that they're the most haunted place.
Like I say, the place that you're currently investigating is the most haunted place that you're currently at.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's quite a lucrative history to the Rolling Hills Asylum, though. From what I remember, it was established in the mid 1800s. Early
Yes.
1800s, and the funny thing that I remember that really stands out is that it was a home for like the handicapped, for widows, for orphans. I remember they mentioned drunkards.
Yep.
And
There's a poor farm.
minor convicts, and the destitute, financially destitute. So there were a lot of pauper graves that were placed there, and I want to say they estimate about 17,000 bodies, unmarked graves, in that property. 17,000. That's
That's not that many.
a pretty big number.
Waverly Hills had more. I'm going to say Waverly's is more haunted. I don't know. Let's not get into that.
Yeah.
So before it was called Rolling Hills, it was actually the Genesee County Poor Farm, and often it was referred to as
Genesee.
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 I like Genesee.
Genesee.
Just like Alaka.
Look,
Alaka.
she probably doesn't listen to this show, so she won't ever hear this.
Yeah.
Which is fine. So, okay, I said it wrong. It's not Genesee.
Genesee.
Genesee. I obviously don't travel to New York.
The Genesee County Poor Farm, or the Old County Home.
Yes. So this was a poor institution where, like you said, paupers.
Yeah. We're just
paupers were poor bitches.
They were public funds, and if you couldn't afford a house, if you're poor, then you got a place to live, and it was all kind of self-sufficient. They grew their own food on there, and
they're a poor farm.
Everyone had their own little jobs.
You gotta pull your weight at the poor farm.
That happened a lot in like the 1800s, early 1900s. Like they would build these asylums or prisons, and they made them into little like working cities, basically.
Well, I guess it keeps their mind going, at least if they have a responsibility. They don't lose their shit.
You know, and
Free
also,
labor.
It wasn't just people
Well,
that
it's
were
not really free. They gotta get donations.
But they don't have to get donations for the inmates. The inmates do all the work.
Well, yeah, I know. I don't know. I was
Cheap
thinking
labor?
about There's, they work off of donations. That's how it ran.
But there were also a lot of handicapped, not just mentally handicapped, but also physically handicapped. I remember reading a story about one particular person named Roy, who was over 7 feet tall.
We'll get there in a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Am I getting too far ahead?
That's down here.
Oh, sorry. Never mind. So, backing that up.
Rewind.
You're time warping like I do.
So they also had minor criminals there. It was The institutions were often settled on the grounds of a working farm where able-bodied residents were required to work in order to continue living there. Such farms were common in the United States in the early 19th and 20th centuries. Now, on December 14th, 1826, the Genesee, the county board of supervisors met in Bethany for the purpose of establishing a poorhouse.
They don't do stuff like that these days. They don't have like poorhouses for. I mean, they have like.
No, they live on the side of the Cecil Hotel in. LA.
Yeah, they make their own camps now.
Skid Row.
Yeah. That literally is Skid Row in LA.
We still need to go to the Cecil Hotel. That scares me though because of all the whole side of it is. Skid Row is
just don't drink the water.
I don't plan.
Just don't touch anything.
So the geographical center of the county was selected as the site for the asylum and was scheduled to open its doors on the 1st of January of 1827. An official announcement was even posted in the local newspaper. Ghosty, what did that announcement say?
It said, "Notice is hereby given that the Genesee County Poorhouse will be ready for the reception of paupers on the first day of January 1827. The overseers of the poorhouse of the several towns of the county of Genesee are requested in all cases of removal of paupers to the county poorhouse to send with them their clothing, beds, bedding, and such other articles belonging to the paupers as may be necessary and useful to them."
Wow. So let's get rid of the poor people because they don't look good on the street, and let's put them in a poorhouse where no one has to see them.
So you had your habitual drunks. So
you
had
the drunkards,
the alcoholics roaming around the street causing problems. They're going.
Well, the poor people.
Yeah,
let's just round up all the poor people.
All the poor people.
Yeah. They should do this in Portland.
The blind.
I think Portland, Oregon needs something like this.
Right. Blind, deaf, or disabled. Vagrants, homeless people, orphans, and widows.
I remember they also
I don't think the whole orphans and widows, because I don't think women could own property at that time, right?
Well, if they were a widow, it was their husband. And maybe if they had expenses that were unsettled, then they might have lost their home. Mm-hmm. I remember also hearing mention of like Civil War veterans. Sometimes there would be veterans from the Civil War that had lost limbs or amputee victims, and they couldn't really work. So all of these people had a place to stay, a place to work, have some income, have some food, have a place to sleep, and no one had to look at them. So that's good. Don't have to look at those ugly poor people and drunkards and get them.
But this is not the only place in the country that has done this stuff. Like when we talked about that.
A lot of places did it. It's like it was the thing to do.
You remember the prison back in St. Augustine?
Yeah.
Where they remodeled the prison, rebuilt it to make it look like all the houses in the surrounding area, so it looked like another one of the houses, so people didn't have to look at a prison. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were really big on making sure that people didn't know that bad things happened in the country. They should continue doing that. Now, in 1828, the Genesee County Board constructed a stone building that was attached to the asylum with the purpose of confining those who misbehaved in the facility. This started the path of abuse that the Rolling Hills Asylum is known for today.
So they led the charge for criminal abuse.
Probably. Awesome. I mean, Eastern State Penitentiary was also up there with that, but I think that came a little bit later in the 1800s. Mm-hmm. Now, the Poor Farm was a self-sufficient working farm that spanned over 200 acres. And like Lurch said earlier, they provided food and fuel for the area.
200 acres. That's actually a pretty good sized piece of land. You can do a lot on 200 acres.
Now, here's the interesting thing: is it didn't matter why you were there. You were referred to as an inmate, even if you weren't like an actual inmate, like orphans. Wow. You're an inmate.
I mean,
widow. You didn't
inmate.
even commit a crime. You're just there.
Yep.
So even if you're just a vagrant passing through, you're considered an inmate.
Yep. If you live there, you're an inmate.
Awesome.
Now the raising of pigs, horses, chickens, and ducks, as well as raising vegetables and fruit crops, canning jams, jellies, and meats. They were all part of the daily work and chores.
Nothing like a good canned meat.
I like my Spam.
I enjoy canned meats of all kinds.
Dude, fried Spam sandwiches, that Hawaiian Spam rice thing. What's it called?
Musubi.
Yeah, that shit's delicious.
Hell yeah.
I like a good candy.
I tried Spam for the first time like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It's really good.
Spam is so good.
Yeah.
And it's so full of salt. It's great.
Yeah.
Now, there's even a wood shop that was used to make the coffins there.
Nice.
So, yeah,
That's where I would have worked.
Yeah, they got a lot of
They would have
people.
pounded in some nails.
They had a lot of
pounded some
people
coffin
dying.
nails. Yeah, they
I
had a lot of.
could picture you like the dude on like Back to the Future Part 3 that runs out there with the tape measure, like measuring people.
Oh yeah, that'd
It's like, I need to make sure this wooden box is big enough for this guy over here.
be- check the breadth of their shoulders.
Even though they didn't talk like that until like the 1920s. This way, everybody follow me.
Coffins aren't really that difficult to make, especially like toe pinchers. It's just a bunch of planks that you just have to cut. And
What the hell is a toe pincher?
it's that traditional casket shape that's kind of like a diamond,
okay.
but it's got
Pinches at the toes.
yeah, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6-sided casket, but it's that traditional casket, shape.
Yeah.
Like a,
Oh, I did not know that.
yeah, it's called a toe pincher.
You would know. You
Makes
actually-
sense. Makes
it
sense.
makes it,
Very, very popular during the Civil War.
That's cool.
Just cheap and easy to make. Just cheap plywood and just cut it to the
Just
right
like this
dimensions.
podcast. It's cheap and easy to make. Now, those who died at the facility were buried on the property, and a cemetery was established, though details about it are non-existent.
They lost the records for that long
Yeah,
time
they
ago.
did. They
So
just started burying bodies wherever. They
Yeah.
probably didn't even make coffins half the time.
yeah, they probably just had like an open pit. They would toss the paupers in, maybe sprinkle some lye.
Some rat poison.
Just make it go away.
Or lime. I guess it's lime.
lime?
Isn't it lime?
Is it lime or
Sprinkle
lye?
lime or lye? I don't know.
I think it's lime. Lye is like
lime.
the corrosive shit.
I think it's
that-
lime.
I like lime in the coconut.
But what
Anyways,
was the
one of
point
those two
that?
things.
I remember seeing something about that before, but not necessarily about this. But
So I guess on a proceeding in 1886, there was a mention of a burying ground that states it was improved with a fence without disturbing the graves. The cemetery has faded over time, and the grass is growing over the weathered stones that once marked the final resting places of those who passed at the asylum.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, I think earlier, I think they estimated about 17,000 people, which still just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's one of those where they didn't really...
1700.
1,700.
Yeah.
Okay, 1,700.
It's still quite a
that's
bit.
That's still a good number.
But that's like, I mean, back then...
Thank you for correcting that.
A lot of places back then, they didn't really document their death. They just, like you guys said, just kind of, there's a hole in the back, throw them in there.
Yeah.
Good to go. So that's a little bit of the history of the place. It's just like any other asylum or penitentiary that was around in the mid to late 1800s, where I'm sure they abused the hell out of the people.
I was
over
just
there.
about to say that I'm sure there was a lot of abuse that happened behind the scenes.
That's probably some of the spirits that are still there.
Mm-hmm.
So-
But maybe they were actually treated nicely. Maybe there were actually they felt safe there. Maybe it's the exact opposite of what we're thinking. Because there were a lot of bad places too.
Oh, Waverly Hills, they mistreated the shit out of
That's
their
what
people
I-
there.
yeah, that's
Especially like even up into the 80s when Waverly's was an old folks home, they had mistreated the retirees there as well.
Well, this place was known for their abuse.
Yeah, still is apparently. This is on my list of places I would love to go check out. Here are some of the ghosts or stuff that people have seen here at Rolling Hills. Let's start with the one you were already talking about.
Oh
Roy.
yeah, Roy. I think he was committed by his parents when he was about 12. He was 7 feet tall, and his family was embarrassed by him, and that's why they committed him, because he had gigantism. He was a giant, tall guy. But from what I remember reading, he's a very nice guy, very gentle, very compassionate.
As most giants are.
Yeah,
Yes.
lived out his life until his death at age 62. Lived listening to opera music, well known for his kindness, like I said. But they report that his shadow is roaming the halls there at the asylum.
So I guess one story that was told by the owner of the building truly captures Roy's purity. Now she talks about the running into a rat in the infirmary. Terrified by it, she screamed and ran away. Now the very next day, she found the rat dead on the stairs, its neck broken.
Yeah, it's almost like someone saw and wanted to do something to make it right for her.
So apparently above the rat was this massive bloody handprint. She believes to this day that Roy witnessed that she was freaked out by this rat and he took care of it for her.
There you go.
Good old Roy.
I don't know how I'd feel. Like, I'm like, yeah, you saw a rat and you're scared, right? But the next day you come and see the rat's dead and there's a big ass handprint on the wall above it. You're like, oh, hey, that's Roy. Thanks, Roy.
Yeah, obviously.
You freaked out about the rat, but not the
Roy's
big
gonna
ass
have
bloody
a bloody
handprint. The rat's scary. Bloody handprint, not so much. We're good to go.
We're safe now.
Ghosty,
We're safe.
why don't you tell us a little about Nurse Emmy?
I see bloody handprints all the time, so it really doesn't, affect
What
me.
are you doing?
Living life, bro. Living life.
I'm
avoiding bloody handprints.
I'm a blood donor, but it's not my blood.
Oh, yeah. I hate it when you come in with a bucket of blood and they ask you where you got it from.
Exactly.
I'm like, does it matter? Just take the blood.
I'm donating, damn it. So Nurse Emmy, others at the asylum were not so kind. One of the nurses in the infirmary, known as Nurse Emmy, was known for her cruelty to the patients.
There you go. So, yeah, the patients were treated unkindly.
Dad, bitch.
Yeah, so she was feared by staff and patients and was even rumored to have performed satanic rituals and black magic on the residents.
As you do.
Yeah,
Reports.
that's typical of nurses.
Why not?
Excuse me, we're just going to have a little satanic ritual here in the room.
Because that's what nurses do, damn it, don't question me. So reports have circulated that Nurse Emmy still roams the halls of the asylum, and visitors hear cackling and banging doors coming from the infirmary.
I want to go talk to her.
Yeah, why not?
That's the type of people that we are, the three of us. Where it's like, where's the bad ones that everyone hates,
Yeah,
that no one wants to talk to? Let's go there.
Let's run into the burning building. Mm-hmm. I've actually got a buddy in Buffalo. I didn't know that this asylum was out there. I'm going to message him later on tonight and ask him if he's ever been to this asylum.
Is this the same buddy that had like the bathroom door locked on him? Or?
No.
Okay.
No, that's that was another friend of mine in Boise.
Oh, gotcha.
This is an artist that I know online. I've never actually met him in person, but I've known him for a couple of years. His name's Anthony. Lives in the Buffalo area. So, I'm going to message him and see if he's actually been to this asylum.
We're coming for you, Anthony, and we're going to take you to the haunted Rolling Hills Asylum.
So if I do hear any stories from him, I'll be sure to share it with you.
Nice.
And you can tell the listeners.
I like stories.
Next time.
We do like the stories.
Okay, so there's another hot spot in the asylum known as Hattie's room. And Hattie is one of the more famous elderly residents that used to live there. The room is home to the disembodied voice yelling, "Hello." Hello. This is believed to be former resident Hattie, who was a blind woman who used to yell out hello all day and night to get the attention of her nurses. Now, her yells are still heard today as a quiet hello, but can be heard by visitors when they walk past the room. That's sad.
That is sad. I was feeling so sad for her because she just wants someone there with
she
her.
just wants someone to talk to her. She's blind. She can't see anybody. And she's just like, hey, is anybody
Stumbling
there?
around the room.
The fact
hello,
that like,
hello.
just, oh, yeah, all day long. She's yelling hello and no one's like paying her any attention. That's mean.
Yeah.
Stupid nurses. Probably Hattie. What's her name? Emma that we just talked about was probably her nurse.
Yep.
It's like, fuck you, old lady.
She's got chores to do.
I don't talk to blind people. She's a blindest. Is that what you call them?
Yeah. She hates blind
She's
people.
like, I only like
You
sighted
know,
people.
seer.
Yeah.
I only like working eye people.
Stupid nurse Emmy.
Your eyes are broken.
I'm gonna go talk to her. Yeah. What do we got? The shadow hallway.
Shadow hallway.
Awesome. I love a good shadow figure. So this place actually has shadow figures because that's another thing that Waverly Hills is famous for is the shadow figures.
Especially
So
down the tunnel.
This is something that they share in common, the two asylums.
So this
Shadow
is on
figures.
the second floor, and the men's dormitory is known for its shadow figures and disembodied voices, and they're seen walking in and out of the doorways, across the halls, peeking from behind doors, and even seen crawling across the floor. So that's exactly like Waverly Hills.
Of course, it's the men's dormitory. A bunch of peeping toms wanting to peek around the corners and practicing their devil worshipping.
Penis worshipping, devil worshipping sons of bitches.
Whoa!
What?
Hey.
I don't know. It's the
Sir,
men's
I'm going to have to ask
dormitory.
you to calm down. Yeah, the men are haunting the men's dormitory. They're weird.
So there was also a solitary confinement area, a solitary confinement location in the asylum. It's one of the more sinister locations in regards to where the hauntings are located because there are iron brackets that protrude out of the stone walls in this one small room, which was used to shackle a lot of the quote-unquote unruly inmates.
That's where Ghosty would go.
Yeah.
Shackle.
Yeah.
He likes to be shackled.
I would ask for it.
So the scary part about this is that it wasn't criminals who were being confined there. Those were understood with mental illnesses and conditions such as Alzheimer's, Tourette's, Asperger's, and even unruly wives were taken down into the darkness from the solitary confinement pits. Today, visitors feel nauseous when
How much you
entering
want to
this
bet that
area.
those unruly wives were just not putting out for these guys?
Yeah. And this would be a location where I'd expect there to be a lot of activity. So, of course, people have reported being hit or pushed while being in this solitary confinement area.
But these are all the people that would like need a lot of attention, and like, you know, people with autism and Alzheimer's
Or
and,
Tourette's.
Yeah. So let's put them in solitary
So
confinement.
let's shackle them so we don't have to hear their shit.
Exactly.
No more.
Yeah. So,
So
they
these
won't-
are the people, like, it's already bad enough that we've housed these people in a place where we want to get them out of the view of the public.
Yeah.
And then we're going to put them even more out of the view of everybody else.
I couldn't imagine
This guy's talking gibberish over here. He doesn't remember his own name because he's old. So let's just throw him down in the dungeon.
as someone who my mom has dementia. I couldn't imagine putting her into a home where they would take her to solitary confinement and shackle her to a wall in a cold, stone-lined wall and just leave her to be by herself. That would absolutely be heartbreaking, devastating. But that's actually what they did with people that had Asperger's,
And a lot of
Asperger's
those
and
families like
Alzheimer's.
drop them off and don't want anything to do with them.
They just don't want anything to do with it anymore. And so that was the answer. You didn't have to pay anything. You didn't have to put them in any kind of special home. It was just public funds. So, it was
they
an
feel like-
easy answer. But, man, I couldn't imagine
That
doing something
happened
like
a
that.
lot all over the country, if not the world, where they just
yeah.
they felt it was overwhelming to take care of the elderly parents. So they just, like you said, dropped them off.
That's
Peace
sad.
out.
Yeah.
Now, obviously,
Different time.
Very different time. Obviously, another very haunted spot in the asylum is going to be the morgue. Here, people hear disembodied voices, and they also experience poltergeist activity.
Nice. Love a little poltergeist activity.
Morgues usually do. Sounds a lot like Waverly Hills.
Well, there's also a very violent spirit who enjoys pushing visitors down onto the cold tile.
That's a little aggressive.
Do they still have the storage, the body storage areas where you can get on a slab and slide into and have it shut behind you and sit there in the dark?
I don't know.
I would not want to do that.
Did they have that where people?
don't know.
Where was it? Where Nick Groff got it?
It was that was on Ghost Adventures where they were,
Yeah.
that was at Waverly Hills though. Not
Was
not
it
Rolling
Waverly Hills? Are you Oh, it was.
Everything
it
bad
was.
happened to Waverly.
It was at Waverly.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
But yeah, Nick Groff did get into one of those morgue holding cells for a body.
no.
And no, that would not happen.
I'm already claustrophobic enough as it is. I don't want to be in one of those.
Plus, it's like you can't get out. You'd have to have someone on the outside let you out. It's like locking yourself in a fridge, an old 1950s Frigidaire.
Right. If
like
I was a
you're gonna die and
spirit, I wouldn't
suffocate
want
there.
to. I wouldn't want to lay in there if I was a spirit.
Oh man, that
Even
makes
if I
me-
was dead, I wouldn't want to lay in that thing. So, what's left of it now? Just what it is today. It's
Now, there's a lot of
Oh yeah,
theories.
it was purchased by new owners, and so they conduct tours there. I think you have to purchase tickets. It's a museum now.
oh hell yeah.
Oh, one of the
likely.
things that they didn't mention as well that I heard about was the laundry room. The laundry room is actually another location in the Rolling Hills Asylum that's supposedly very active. They have a child spirit that lives down there. I forget what they named the child spirit. He has a name, but she described that he looks like Pugsley from the Addams Family, just kind of a little short, pudgy kid. But I watched a short video, and you can hear actual EVPs of this young boy asking, things like, "Where's the ball?" And
So there are people that actually were attached to the place. So they weren't all just abuse. They were abusive to the ones that we just talked about.
Yeah.
But the ones that are functioning and can do stuff.
yeah, this is their home.
Yeah, they felt like they had a family because all the hard things were put out in the pasture.
And those would be people that would be different from people that needed actual physical or mental help. They could live there. If they were a pauper, they could live there. They could grow food. They could be self-sustaining, and they had a place to live. And that way the nurses and the staff wouldn't have to really get involved with them.
Yeah, they kind of did their own thing and stayed out
Yeah,
of the way of
exactly.
everything. They didn't need any help. Yeah.
But I would feel really bad for all of the people there that were in need of help.
But the ones that did like it there, they were attached to it. They felt safe there.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why their spirits would still be there. Mm-hmm. So not just bad ones, but there's people that are attached to it in a positive way as well, though.
Yes. I mean, you can kind of say that about anywhere. I mean, there's some places that were just really bad that... I mean, Waverly was just all sorts of bad just because of the...
Some of the spirits that were there
dying.
before turned into that probably had a good life because they did have the attention that they needed with the amount of staff. But then it just kind of got out of hand pretty quick.
Yeah, this one, I didn't really see any mention of like it populated like a lot of the penitentiaries.
No, that's why the numbers are kind of not as high as you'd see at Waverly Hills because it wasn't so congested with people.
Yeah, the building's not quite as big as Waverly Hill.
It's only like it's like the size of one wing of Waverly Hills.
It's kind of in the shape of like a boomerang. It's 3 separate buildings, but they're all connected by tunnels. But it looks like one uniform building.
Yeah, it does look pretty damn haunted though. It looks old as shit, and it was probably huge for its time.
Yeah, and while Waverly Hills had a lot of like outdoor patios, this is all fully enclosed. It's again not nearly as large as Waverly Hills, but a lot of the same similar architecture,
on a lot of
similar
land,
look.
though.
Yeah, on a lot of land. Like I pulled this up on Google Maps, and it's a large square plot, 200 acres. I mean, it's a large piece of land.
You can have a lake on that.
You know, like the house that I live on is a 1/4 acre. You know, and it's like I couldn't imagine even 20 acres.
No,
40 acres of land.
But they do what's it called? Paranormal investigations there?
Yeah. Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, that's the owner. She's all about the paranormal, and they've got several volunteers that help conduct investigations. And the videos that I saw, it had the volunteers there, and they were doing investigations in different areas and doing different types of investigative techniques, EVPs, trying millimeters, things like that. And it's very active. I mean, it's a very, very active.
Seen a lot of people's YouTube videos. There's people that have caught like doors closing and slamming even.
Yeah, so it has. We're just looking at the website here, and it has walking tours, but it says pricing to be determined. So. Kind of curious how much it would cost.
It's a market rate. It's like
it's like lobster. Well, seasonal incline, decline.
So that's at the top there. The self-guided historical tour is to be determined on the pricing. There's a guided flashlight tour, which is 2 hours. You get a little bit farther down on the website here. You got the 3-hour psych hold, which is a guided tour followed by a self-guided ghost hunt, which is about $40 per person. The 4-hour detained is what they call it, is also a guided tour followed by a self-guided ghost hunt. That gets you $50 per person. The 5-hour ICU is $60 a person, and 6 hours you're looking at $70 a person.
Wow, even like 3, you don't think about it, but 3 or 4 hours of investigating is a long time. Like
it is
6-7 hours. I mean, that's like a full work shift right there.
You remember back in the day when we did the overnighters at off Broadway? That was 7 hours investigation, and there was just so much that you knew in those 7 hours.
I literally have hours and hours of unlistened recordings.
Oh, so do I.
Of audio recording that I have yet to go through. So many
they have movie
unfound
nights.
EVPs that will never be discovered.
You can go see a movie at the asylum.
That's pretty dope.
This
Regular picture show.
This was back in June, though.
Oh, yeah, they probably have it outdoors.
The Stanley Hotel does stuff like that too. I kind of like how the Stanley has. I know, yeah. They have concerts there all the time. They have movies playing all the time. They celebrate like The Shining there. I mean, I have a buddy that I work with that actually went and saw a concert out there last year for his birthday, and he had a blast.
We should go back to the Stanley.
That's a fun place.
It's been almost 10 years since we've been.
Oh, man.
We went in 2015.
And all because of Castle's woman. We had to leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still mad at her for it.
I know. she had to get back to work. Yeah, so we're investigating. There's like, how many of us were there? A dozen?
We took 10 people.
10 people.
Yes.
And one of the former investigator of the group that we're all collectively in, his wife at the time, now ex-wife, his wife was a nurse, and she had to hurry back to get to work. So we busted our butts early and got in the car early.
We left at 7 a.m.
7 a.m. and drove straight back to Utah so that she'd get to work. And we're
By
all just
3
like,
p.m. She's going to get the day off, but she insisted on coming anyways. Well, the funny thing was is she's a skeptic. She didn't believe in ghost hunts. She didn't even have fun.
It was when their marriage was failing, and she wanted to try to have more interaction with his hobbies and his interests. So she was actively trying to save.
Trying to sabotage the fun.
For the most part.
Sabotage
There was
the
a
fun,
couple
that's
investigations she came on, and she was just poo-pooing over the whole thing. So
yeah, she was definitely a very, very hardcore skeptic. I do remember that.
I remember there was some investigation she came on, and she just sat there and made fun of us all the whole time. So I don't know how much effort was actually put into it.
Cool. Right on. Hashtag sarcasm.
She was a trooper. No. So we'll probably be taking a break here in a couple weeks
For
the
holiday
season.
Yeah.
We'll still give you a couple episodes here in December, but we'll probably take like 2-3 weeks off.
And I will follow up with you on my buddy out in Buffalo. If he has any stories or knows of anyone that has any stories, I will get as much information as I can.
Or if any of you listeners have stories, you can email us at evp.pod@gmail.com.
Stories are awesome. Personal experiences are cool. You know, there's a lot of personal experiences you can't like tangibly have any kind of evidence to show people, but they hit you a lot harder. Like, it's something that you know happened, but you're still like, your logical mind is thinking, did that really happen? But I know it happened, but did that really happen?
Yeah, it trips you out, man. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like the very first investigation that I went on, I heard an audible sound without, you know, with my plain ear of a small boy.
Or as Ghosty would say,
Mommy.
your bare ass ears.
Yeah.
Bare ass ears.
Mommy, I'm here. Or Mommy, over here. Or something like that. Mommy, over here.
Yeah, that'd be true.
And it was, I mean, you could hear it with your voice. And it was like, holy crap. Was that just me? Did everyone else hear that too?
Well, you also got that on audio too, didn't you?
I did.
Nice.
Yeah, I do have that on audio.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, if any of you have been there and have stories, please hit us
Bethany,
up.
New York.
Yes. As always, if you don't want us to share any of your stories on the show, just put that in the subject. Just say, don't share this. Like, we love reading your stories. We'll keep it to ourselves if you want us to. But yeah, please hit us up. Let us know of any experiences you've had at the Rolling Hills Asylum.
Or just in general.
Or just in general. Yeah. We love hearing your stories.
All right, guys, go don't play that.
Oh, we're just skipping straight to that?
Oh, I thought
we don't want to tell people to check out our Instagram and Facebook at evp.pod.
They should probably do that.
And then they should go to ghoststop.com, check out our affiliate link, and buy the best ghost hunting gear available to you and do the ghost hunting. Again, that's ghoststop.com.
All right.
So I'm going to quickly interrupt. Sorry. I follow you guys on Spotify, and I need to get caught up. But have you guys talked about the investigation that they did out of the grist mill?
Which one?
Like recently?
Maybe.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
My son wanted to go. My son's 15 and he wanted to go, but he went to the Fear Factory that same night. So he didn't want me to mention, you know, he's interested in going on
I've got
investigation.
3 dates next year.
We'll have to talk afterwards, and I'll get some dates from you because he would like to tag along.
We
and I think it'd be fun to have.
We are compiling a list for investigations that we plan on doing next year. We just have to reach out to some people, set up some dates. So we're going to try to actually get back into doing public ghost hunts next year. That's on the list of things to do.
Very cool.
Yeah, because Ghosty does play that.
Yes. Peace in butterflies?
You mean that's the end? Is that the end?
Yeah, I think that's the
Do you
end.
want
That's
to
the
end?
Is that how you guys say it? Ghost don't play that? Peace out, butterfly?
But we said it backwards, though, because Ghosty does play that in Peace
right.
in butterflies. So really, it's...
Okay, bye.
This is the EVP Podcast.